Hi and welcome to this SOLIDWORKS Visualize tutorial. In this tutorial I want to show you how I take a wooden toy I've designed and what I do within Visualize to achieve my renderings. You can see here a side-by-side rendering of my toy before and after I edited my model within Visualize. You can download the SOLIDWORKS model and follow along if you wish. You can find the link in the SOLIDWORKS blog. With the assembly of the model open in SOLIDWORKS, go to the Visualize tab and select Export Advanced. It may take a moment to open. Now I could render the current render window image, but it can be so much better and more realistic with some tweaks. My renders aren't super lifelike, but I do like my renders to have an element of realism with a playful and colourful quality. The first thing I change is the aspect ratio. 16:9 is the standard format for most screens, so I usually choose this for my tutorials and blog images. You can change this depending on the final intended use of your image. The options for this is under the Camera's General tab, and drop down the aspect ratio menu here. Moving on to the scene, select the visible backplate and hide it. Then selecting the current environment, change the background type to colour. Selecting into the colour selection box, I can use the picker tool and select colours from the toy itself. I can tweak its saturation and brightness with the sliders. You have an unlimited selection of colours to choose from. I will be adding a floor to this layout, so you won't see the background colour, but this is sometimes an option I use to create a colourful background for my rendering. I also rotate the environment 180 degrees to bring the lighting to the front of the model. Next, you will see if I zoom into the model, parts of the decals are very flat and have no appearance. To amend this, select the Appearances tab. I will use this white appearance, which is applied to the chick part for the decals. I use a white appearance for decals, as any other colour would tint the decal and change its final colour. Drag this bar down to see the decals. Starting with the carrot, select the decal image here and assign appearance. Check the white colour 7 appearance and apply. You will see the difference it makes to the model render immediately. Repeat this process for all the other decals. Once all the decals have the appearance applied, I can edit the wood appearances. I can select the appearances texture and edit the bump map depth to increase the appearance of the wood grooves. For the top end grain wood appearance, I'm making the depth 1. You will see the grain appearance become darker. Then for the other wood appearance used on the sides of the puzzle, I increased the bump texture depth to 5. Now you could render at this point, or you could add a few more improvements starting with a floor. To do this, I go to the Model tab, select the plus icon and New Model and choose Complex Plane. This drops in a plane into the render region that I can move and add appearances to. Using Transform, I'm going to snap it to the floor. Then selecting both model parts here using Control on your keyboard, I'm going to pull them up above the background's floor by 0.0015. Then moving into Appearances, I'm right-clicking and adding a new appearance. Drag and drop this onto the top face of the plane. Now I could edit this new appearance under the General tab, or I could use the Library tab where you have more appearances to choose from. Select the cloud icon to load in further appearances. Under the Fabric menu, I'm choosing the soft fabric. Going back to Appearances and ensuring I have my new appearance selected, I can edit the texture of the bump map and change the size of the bump tile. To do this, I type in numbers moving upwards to scale down the tile. I finalise the sizing at 50. Finally, I tweak the colour of the appearance. Using the colour dropper, I pick out the darker blue of the cloud part here and play around with the shade and saturation of the colour. Before rendering, I like to add a camera effect. Under the camera tab, check the Enable Depth of Field box here and use the pick option to select a target for the camera to focus on within your model. You'll see when I do this that the background of the model and the background goes out of focus, creating a more realistic image. One thing I like to do is place the model off center too. If you move your model within the render region after applying the depth of field, you'll need to reselect your focal point. You can increase or decrease the aperture here to control how much of the image is in focus. Another feature is the ability to move parts of the model. You can do this if you've exported your model from SOLIDWORKS into Visualize using the Export Advanced option. This brings your assembly in as separate parts. Under the Models tab, drop down the puzzle tree here and then select the cloud part. Start by snapping it to the floor and using the Transform Position XYZ options, move the shape out of the puzzle. Raise the cloud up onto the plane by inputting 0.0015 on its y-axis. That way it will sit on top of the plane. With my model ready to render, you will find these options under the Tools tab. This first rendering can be a test to see if you need to make any amendments. Looking at this rendering, I can see an obvious colour difference in the green of the carrot decal to the rest of the piece. To fix this, go back to your project and under Appearances, select the green colour and edit the colour using the Picker tool, taking the colour from the decal. If there's still a slight difference, you can manually edit the colour. I'm making the green darker until it matches up. Now when I render the model again, the edit has fixed the problem. I also used SOLIDWORKS Visualize to create this final animation of my toy. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Thank you for watching.